chamber. President Trump decried the court's ruling that invalidated most of his tariffs.
Very unfortunate ruling.
But the president vowed to continue tariffs through different statutes.
Because we finally have a president who puts America first.
Trump also said he will not back down on his military threat against Iran.
I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon.
While also saying his preference would be to solve the problem through diplomacy.
This morning, Iran labeled the president's claims big lies. Virginia's new governor, Abigail Spanberger, took on his border policy in the Democratic response.
Our broken immigration system is something to be fixed, not an excuse for unaccountable agents to terrorize our communities.
The president spoke for an hour and 48 minutes. That's 11 minutes longer than the old record set by former President Clinton. Lawmakers in the House have defeated an air safety bill by just one vote after the Pentagon objected over what it called cost and security concerns. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
Would have required most aircraft to have the ability to send and receive really detailed location data about other aircraft.
The bill was introduced after last year's deadly crash between a passenger plane and a military helicopter near Washington, D.C. The leader of a prestigious brain institute has handed in his resignation over his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Richard Axel is quitting as co-director of a neuroscience institute at Columbia University. The New York Times reports the Epstein files show he was a frequent guest at Epstein's home in Manhattan. In a statement, Axel said it was a serious error in judgment to associate with Epstein. And the Wall Street Journal reports Bill Gates apologized to the staff of the Gates Foundation during a town hall Tuesday, saying it was a huge mistake to spend time with Epstein. He admitted he'd brought Epstein into meetings with Foundation executives, but insisted he did nothing illegal. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
The Louvre Museum in Paris, home of the Mona Lisa, has a new director after the crown jewel heist in October. Reporter Brad Gibson.
Christophe Larabeau is expected to take over as head with the job of improving security, and he'll have a challenging job getting the Louvre's credibility restored.
The previous director resigned this week. Dow futures are up 107. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at jtv.com.
Let's get you updated on news and weather and traffic. It's 6:03, and right now it's cloudy, 38 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. KMOX continues to follow developments with St. Louis County's enforcement of removing video lottery games in businesses with liquor licenses. However, County Executive Sam Page wants the council to approve 2 new hires.
Those jobs would be for inspectors of the Revenue Department. Dr. Page says 400 letters have gone out advising those businesses of the county's ban and a recent federal court ruling reinforcing they are illegal accepting casinos statewide.
While the county council is determining whether or not they'll fund these 2 new positions, we will use inspectors from our code enforcement division and problem properties, and they have helped the Department of Revenue in the past.
Page adds businesses applying for a new or renewal liquor license will have to attest that they do not have any illegal gambling or video lottery game machines on the premises. Liquor licenses must be renewed yearly in St. Louis County. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
When did the county executive become the chief law enforcement officer of St. Louis County?
That is Councilman Dennis Hancock reacting to Page's request for more liquor officers following the federal court ruling that labeled gray market video lottery terminals as illegal gambling. The county executive threatened to pull the liquor licenses of 400 local businesses if those machines weren't removed immediately. Hancock, who is running for county executive himself, argues this aggressive enforcement is a return to a pattern from COVID.
This is another example of Dr. Page's war on small businesses. I have no idea why he hates small business so much, but this is just another example of it.
Wesley Smith of VFW Post 2184 told the council the loss of the machines would take away more than $10,000 a month in profit.
The NAACP of St. Louis City is calling for a federal investigation following the death of a man on Metrolink property, saying the man was a diabetic who used Metrolink to get to work and that Metro left him there to die. KSDK reports 60-year-old Derek Hodges was found dead on a bench last week near the Union Station Metrolink platform after he was forcibly removed by security. Metro police say Metro Security called 911 to request assistance in removing Hodges from the Union Station platform. That was on February 16th around 1 a.m., and 10 minutes later, they say Metro Security canceled the request for assistance.
Students and staff at Washington University's Danforth campus had to shelter in place for about an hour and a half yesterday. WashU and St. Louis police searched buildings and determined that the threat was not credible. Washington University reaching an agreement with the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis to acquire its campus and the St. Louis College of Pharmacy.
WashU will add the college as its 10th academic school and integrate select undergraduate programs into its existing offerings. Pending regulatory approvals, St. Louis College of Pharmacy will become a part of WashU following the 2026-2027 academic year and will remain at its current location. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I'm Michael Calhoun with more.
It's really a way for us to really ensure a sustainable future for our 162-year-old college, which is the oldest college of pharmacy west of the Mississippi River.
But should College of Pharmacy students expect any changes to their tuition or financial aid when it transitions to WashU? KMOX asked President of the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy, Brian Size.
It's a great question. We're continuing business as usual for right now. We still have to work out a lot of the details with WashU.
That includes what happens to faculty and staff and to the COP campus.
The Supreme Court ruling that struck down the Trump administration tariffs doesn't resolve much for the economy. John Horn, economics professor at the Olin School of Business at WashU, tells KMOX.
Now that they've been ruled as illegally, some of them, not all of them, it just creates more chaos. The president implemented additional tariffs last week at the end of the week after the ruling. And I think there's just more chaos that's going to be coming in terms of rates, how long those rates will be put in place, where, for what products, et cetera. And so just the uncertainty is back.
Horn says other countries may accuse the U.S. of negotiating in bad faith on the trade deals because of the high court ruling.
A new recreation center could be coming to the Ville. From the KMOX business desk, preliminary approval has been granted by the city for a youth and senior rec center to be built at Moffett and Whittier. Phase 1 is tied to federal ARPA money and would include a meeting space with restrooms. Phase 2 would add offices, classrooms, and a meal prep area that could expand Meals on Wheels capacity.
Currently, Northside Youth and Senior Service Center serves meals to more than 1,000 seniors a year. That includes 600 seniors who are homebound, all from a 2-flat that's not fully accessible to seniors who use wheelchairs or walkers. Since the tornado, they've been prepping even more meals and need more space, according to the Business Journal.
It is 6:09. We'll check traffic and weather for you, so stay with us here on Total Information AM.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for more information.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in a school pickup line, thinking about what to make for dinner. Are the kids' practice jerseys clean? If she sent out that last email before leaving work. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your HVAC systems at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com today. After all, comfort is our middle name.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, Roger Brand, what's the latest overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, it looks like the train's finished crossing at Monsanto, Tom. Southbound is completely thinned out. Of course, more folks this time of day are going northbound Route 3, so it's still bumper to bumper just north of Judith, headed up to Monsanto, but it'll thin out pretty quickly, I would think. If you're headed that way, I wouldn't worry about it, but right now you do have delays, but again, it should thin out fairly quickly. Other than that, there's just a hint of a slowdown north of Bayless. This looks a little busy there on northbound 55. There's still that brief slowdown on eastbound 70 just immediately east of Warrenton. Otherwise, the rest of these interstates are pretty much wide open for you so far this morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Clouds and some sunshine today with a high of 55. It'll be rather cloudy tonight with a couple of passing showers, the low 36. Clouds will give way to sunshine pretty quickly tomorrow, the high 56. Mostly sunny and noticeably warmer Friday, high 71. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies. It's 38 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:12. A 41-year-old man is arrested in connection to a fatal West End shooting from earlier this month. St. Louis police say the suspect has been charged with first-degree murder, among other felonies. Officers were called to a shooting in a West End neighborhood February 2nd, where they found 59-year-old Timothy Rice dead from a gunshot wound inside his minivan. Detectives have not yet released the suspect's name.
4 Missouri law enforcement officers were shot, 2 of them killed during a deadly standoff across Christian and Stone counties. After a deputy was killed during a Monday afternoon traffic stop in Highlandville, a massive manhunt was launched for the suspect, Richard Dean Byrd. Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole says Byrd shot 3 more officers overnight near Reed Spring, killing a second Christian County deputy before police returned fire.
The suspect continued to fire rounds at officers and deputies. The law enforcement officers on scene returned fire, and the suspect is deceased.
The St. Louis County Revenue Department has suffered around $2 million in cuts because of budget shortfalls. KMOX reported yesterday that the county executive wants to hire 2 inspectors for the department.
It requires the council to approve funding for the positions, and County Executive Dr. Sam Page has made the request. The new jobs will be to handle liquor license inspections, especially since they've had to enforce laws that prohibit video lottery games at businesses with liquor licenses. Page says it goes way beyond, though, liquor licenses.
We face significant cuts that we're struggling to even get the bills that we receive for people paying their taxes. We're struggling to get them opened and processed promptly because of the cuts. We're struggling to get the senior tax freeze applications processed because of staffing cuts. And we've asked people to work overtime. And because of those cuts to the Department of Revenue, we've had to reduce the county operating hours and close early at 3:30. And we just started doing that a couple of weeks ago.
Page says by closing early, that eliminates paying overtime. But if you're trying to pay taxes, the lines are long, but the wait on the phone is even longer. Maria Akita, KMOX News.
Another fiery night at the St. Louis County Council.
For you to allude that this council is doing anything that is unethical or illegal is despicable.
That is Shalonda Webb shooting back at a county executive Page for his accusation that the council is contaminating the search for a new county headquarters. But council members are also alleging a deeper effort to muzzle staff. They claim the Page administration's aggressive crackdown on department heads has left council members unable to get basic factual updates on county operations.
You put them in the crosshairs. It made it a situation of them against us. And that's never the case. When they are forced to lie, when they are held in meetings for hours and hours to prep before they come and speak to this council instead of just being able to tell the truth. You are creating a toxic, or you have created a toxic environment.
Chairwoman Britta Days vows the council will not be bullied out of its charter-mandated oversight of all county leases.
You know, I think, we didn't pack it in when we got down 25 and we rallied. You know, we cut it to 11 late. We have a chance to get it. We get a stop. have a chance to get a rebound and run, and Keontae Jones beats us to a loose ball. We have inside position, just takes it out of our hands, lays it in, and one. We have another chance to cut it back, and Letang misses, gets his own rebound back, gets fouled, 2 free throws. They only got 5 offensive rebounds, but 2 massive ones.
Yes.
In late game, and again, doesn't mean we win the game, but there's about 4 minutes to go, maybe 3:45-ish.
You wanted to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you get a rebound, you're down 11, you come down, you cut it to 9, cut it to 8.
That is head coach Josh Schertz with Bob Ramsey at Earl Austin Jr. last night after losing by 15 to Dayton, 77-62, describing the comeback almost in the second half. Problem is they let too much go against them in the first half, and SLU has made a habit of this. They have soft first half games and better second half rallies. This time, Dayton too tough, too strong, and certainly was seeking revenge after losing by 31 last month at Chaffetz Arena. Dayton wins 77-62, beating 23rd ranked SLU, handing them another A10 loss. The Billikens right now have a 1-game lead over VCU as we head down the stretch. 3 more games for SLU on the schedule. They play at home against Duquesne and then Loyola and go to George Mason before the Atlantic 10 tournament. Missouri, meanwhile, with a huge win for its NCAA tournament hopes. The Tigers beat Tennessee 73-69. 22nd ranked Volunteers lose at Mizzou Arena. 9th SEC win for Missouri. At this point, 10 should easily be enough for them to get into the NCAA tournament. They're 3-1 at home against AP top 25 teams. 21st ranked Miami of Ohio won again, 74-64 over Eastern Michigan. The Redhawks are 28-0, the only undefeated team in Division I college basketball. Now to baseball.
Thomas Sajacy is looking to turn into the Cardinals' next super utility player as he takes a crash course this spring on learning to play the outfield. We've yet to see him play out there in a Grapefruit League game, but manager Oliver Marmol says it's going to happen soon.
I'd like to see it once, at least. Our options at short, obviously you have JJ and Sajacy and Fermin, and we'll see a combination of all those guys. But I'd like to see Sajacy there today and then in the outfield and then go from there.
We have seen Sajacy play a strong defensive shortstop, and Marmol has a lot of confidence in his ability to play that position.
From a skill set standpoint, he's got the ability and the tools to do it.
Marmol also thinks we'll see more power from Sajacy when he stops swinging at as many pitches outside of the zone.
It's hard to drive a baseball when you're not swinging at strikes. And that's a point of emphasis for him offensively. It's just we have to be able to shrink the strike zone. And if you look at Burleson ability to make contact to a fault sometimes, like him shrinking the strike zone gave him a lot more success. Like Sajacy has to make it a point to do something similar where it's not as much chase.
Sajacy will leave Cards camp soon as he will play shortstop for the Italian WBC team. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinals spring training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cardinals lost to the Nationals last night 6-1. They visit the Mets today at 12:10. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Saving money is hard, but what's worse is when you save all year, hoping to use that money for a nice vacation, and then your AC unit dies and that money is gone. Now imagine yourself in retirement. You've saved a nice amount, hoping to use it for fun. But every time you take money out of your 401k, you get hammered in taxes. It's a sad fact, but your number one expense in retirement may not be cruises and trips. It could be taxes. At the All Financial Group, we believe in keeping more of your money where it belongs, with you. Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, March 10th and Thursday, March 12th. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. You must qualify to attend. Call today to reserve your spot, 636-230-8824, or go online to yourmoneymattersstl.com. And services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may give any tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
It seems like this weather is going to continue. The cold weather is going to continue here in St. Louis and Illinois for the foreseeable future to finish out the winter. Now, if you have been unlucky or you don't want to wait till you're unlucky and you need your furnace fixed or even replaced, call me. We can get your furnace next day. Sometimes we, depending on the manufacturer, it's not us, but just depending on the manufacturer, if they have the parts available, and here in St. Louis or Illinois, we can get you that day. But either way, if you're having problems with your furnace or you want to prevent problems with your furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois, just one number. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's Bart Inman. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:21. Let's get you caught up on your ride into work or school this morning and take a look at that forecast as well. Things are going to warm up a little before they get colder again, because that's what we do on this roller coaster February. Roger Brand joins us in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a little trouble right now on northbound Highway 55, a crash. It's hard to tell. It looks like it may. I see cars on the right shoulder. Northbound 55 north of Bayless is where we're talking about, but there may be some in the center lane too. It's from my vantage point, it's sort of hard to tell. So it looks like there is a lane block there on northbound 55. Again, it's north of Bayless, so expect delays, a jam right now. Not any worse than it normally would be. Back through the Union Road overpass on northbound 55. Getting to that point, getting past that point, once you get around it, everything else is good to go. 70's cleared out in Warrenton. That slowdown we had eastbound is gone. There's a little slowdown southbound 61 south of Wensfield Parkway. On the Illinois side, it still looks good through the O'Fallon Fairview Heights area. Route 3 is pretty much back to normal through Monsanto now as well. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
High of 55 degrees today. Cloudy, couple of showers tonight, low 36. Tomorrow, sunshine and a high of 56. It's 38 right now.
The news continues at 6:22. Yesterday, the U.S. House failed to pass a measure to require increased sensors on aircraft in order to prevent another mid-air collision. 24 Democrats were absent, which would have been enough extra support to push it over the edge. Two of those representatives, St. Louis's Wesley Bell and Kansas City's Emmanuel Cleaver, were away in Missouri filing for re-election. KMOX reached out to Bell's office about missing the vote in favor of ballot position, but we are waiting a call back. Cleaver, speaking with reporters at the state capitol, focused on new congressional maps which carve him out of much of his longtime district.
And it's also important to know that the Constitution says that the redistricting must begin in the state of Missouri or whatever state. And I don't think there's anybody who would say truthfully with electricity to monitor whether they're telling the truth, say that it began in Jefferson City or anywhere else in the state, began in Washington and the White House.
More than 315,000 Missourians signed a petition for a referendum on those controversial mid-decade maps before they're used in the election.
Now an update on the billion-dollar battle over weed killer Roundup and any impacts on Creve Coeur-based Bayer Crop Science. We told you about the latest presidential executive order, which declares the continued production of glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup, as a matter of national security. The administration claims it's about protecting the food supply. But Republican Congressman Thomas Massey is crying foul.
The president's chief of staff and the president's attorney general work for one of the biggest lobbying firms that's received hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars from Bayer. And maybe that's why we've seen an executive order that says that the production of this chemical from this German company is a national defense priority. And we know why they're doing that. It's to keep them from having any liability. Everybody in this country deserves their day in court.
Massey has introduced the No Immunity for Glyphosate Act, which says that even if the chemical is deemed essential for defense, the manufacturer remains legally accountable for anybody who would get sick from it.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, a frequent critic of President Trump, accuses him of preferring chaos over care, corruption over compassion. She's talking specifically about the millions of people who have lost their health insurance.
Or in some cases, like Jeremy from Carbondale, his health insurance premiums have quadrupled.
We went from a $5,000 deductible to a $16,400 deductible.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth says it's hard to imagine the stress, the fear, or heartbreak of a healthcare crisis in the family.
It could be one that they've experienced themselves or one that they were forced to witness. So a loved one suffered through an illness or an injury. It's that kind of worst case scenario. The last thing they need, the last thing they deserve is to be treated by their governments as if they're being punished for the sin of getting sick.
Duckworth says President Trump happily has stripped away the tax credits that millions of Americans relied on for health care.
Thanks to his bill, thanks to his apathy, thanks to his antipathy for his own citizens, countless folks' premiums for their health care are skyrocketing.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Republicans in December talked about a narrow health care package expanding the availability of association health plans and what are known as choice arrangements, but the plan did not extend the enhanced ACA subsidies.
The Illinois Education Association says, according to its new poll, 57% of Illinoisans report feeling worried about ICE agents targeting local students or staff. The government recently removed schools from the list of protected safe zones. During a briefing on its State of Education report, IEA President Carl Gakey explained that this fear creates a psychological barrier to learning.
Students do better when they're free from fear. And when students are concerned and when parents are concerned about sending their students to school because they're scared about what could happen to them, students don't learn as well.
He says the poll also shows 85% of Illinoisans believe every child, regardless of legal status, has a right to a public education.
Missouri Governor Kehoe has warned of major budget cuts while also looking to eliminate the biggest revenue source the state has, the income tax. It worries disability advocates like Kathy Brown of Easter Seals Midwest.
Anything that reduces general revenue makes us nervous. That's how we fund the safety net for people with significant disabilities.
Today is Disability Rights Legislative Day in Jefferson City. Brown says additionally, the legislature and local communities are looking at more ways to cut funding for programs for those with disabilities. So what does that mean for families?
There is no safety net to the safety net. This is it. There's no public or private insurance that a family can purchase that provides these services. There really are no other options.
It's 6:27, time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got cloudy skies, 38 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. An update from CBS at 6:31. Here's Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, this traffic report's a service of Meadowview Memory Care, and we still have our trouble spot. In fact, we have more lane restrictions now. Northbound 55 at Bayless, we've got only the right lane open because of this crash. Emergency crews showed up, and the jam goes back solid to Rivas Barracks now. It'll get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Intervals of clouds and sun today, high 55. Cloudy with a couple of showers, low 36. Clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow, high 56. Friday, warmer. Plenty of sunshine and a high of 71. Currently, it's cloudy, 38 downtown at the Arch. In the news this morning, we take a look at a couple of things, including the fact that we have Iran pushing back against Donald Trump ahead of Geneva talks in face of major U.S. military deployment. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman dismissed Trump's remarks at the State of the Union as big lies. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go back to CBS.
CBS News special report. In the first State of the Union address of his second term, President Trump boasted about the economy.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it.
He clashed with Democrats on who was to blame for the partial government shutdown and ICE tactics.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Talking about Iran, CBS's Robert Costa says the president was short on specifics.
What really stood out to me was what was not said. He has a big decision he still has to make about how to handle Iran.
The president hailed Team USA's gold medal men's hockey team, whose members got a ride to Washington on an Air Force plane. The address goes down as the longest in history at an hour and 48 minutes. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:32.
The prices alone are worth the trip at the 2026 Home Expo. One lucky attendee will win a red light therapy sauna from Aloha Pools and Spa, and many other prizes given away hourly. Hosted by the Home Builders and Remodelers Association, the expo features 175 plus booths, free admission, and free parking. Thanks to sponsors like Aloha Pools, Lacey Lumber, McCullough's Flooring, and Turf Shed. February 27th through March 1st at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds. Details at hbrmea.org.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Your Money Minute, sponsored by Amy Ganner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. The world's largest theater chain is shrinking its footprint. AMC Entertainment is thinking about closing underperforming theaters. The company has the option to renew or terminate roughly 85 leases a year. That's about 10% of its locations. Closing theaters is part of AMC's strategy to stabilize its finances. Quick check of the market. Stocks are holding on to yesterday's gains. The markets are facing a big test today. Artificial intelligence chip giant NVIDIA reports its latest quarterly earnings results after the closing bell. Investors continue to be concerned that the AI spending wave isn't sustainable. Ahead of that, S&P futures are up 8 points, Dow futures rising 45. And Mediterranean chain Cava gave a rosy financial outlook for the year. The company has been outperforming its fast casual rivals. Cava sees sales expanding at least 5% this year. The company says price increases and more expensive options are helping. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, Your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected. Your floor mats are cleaned and delivered. And your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson.
Switch to TurboTax and file your own taxes for free in the app, because free shouldn't cost $15.99. Right? Free Tax USA? Or is it cost $15.99 Tax USA? Switch to TurboTax and file free. Free state, free federal, 100% free, 100% guaranteed. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Switch to TurboTax and file your own taxes in the app for free by 2/28. Excludes TurboTax expert products. $15.99 charge from Free Tax USA is for state taxes.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's exhibition preseason baseball today as the Cards take on the Mets. Pre-game 12 noon, first pitch 12:10. And you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
It is now 6:38. We'll have traffic and weather for you in 2 minutes. Iran pushing back against Trump ahead of Geneva talks. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman dismisses President Trump's remarks at the State of the Union as big lies. Meanwhile, Iran's parliament speaker said the U.S. could either engage in diplomacy or face the wrath of Iran if it attacks. America has assembled its biggest deployment of aircraft and warships into the Middle East in decades, part of Trump's efforts to get a deal while Iran struggles at home with growing dissent following nationwide protests last month.
Also in the news this morning, the home of the Mona Lisa has a new boss to steer the Louvre out of crisis after its jewel heist. Art historian Christophe Lirabeau is a veteran museum director and was chosen Wednesday to steer the world's largest museum out of crisis. The difficulties Lirabeau inherits are formidable as the daylight robbery exposed alarming security holes at the Paris landmark. The museum has recently also had to contend with a burst water pipe in the gallery housing the Mona Lisa, the damaged priceless books, staff walkouts, and the revelation of a ticket fraud operation.
If you don't care to know if a tornado is coming, there's a new weather app that lets you sign up for fun alerts, like if there's going to be a rainbow in your neighborhood or a really great sunset. Acme Weather was developed by the same people who created the old Dark Sky app before Apple bought it. For $25 a year, not only do you get notified when the moon looks super cool, but the app also delivers alternate forecasts just in case their main prediction is wrong.
Massive house fire in Wildwood yesterday had 109 shut down. Also ran into that while in Eureka for the Ladue Eureka girls basketball game last night, Roger Brand. But they got that cleared up yesterday evening. You're in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, they had a call out to that same, I think, house again this morning. It was actually a brush fire, too, that I think caught a house on fire. But, yeah, they had some trouble out there yesterday, obviously. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence Deck. The trouble this morning is a crash on northbound 55 North of Bayless, only the right lane is open. Traffic's jammed back south of Rivas Barracks. The lanes are also slow. Butler Hill up to 270, north 55. Northbound 270, Sappington through Gravois, bumper to bumper. Big Bend up through Manchester. You've got slow traffic if you're on southbound 61. Approaching Highway P about midway down to Wentzville Parkway, it's slow. And then crossing over onto 64 most of the way to Lake St. Louis Boulevard is kind of busy as well. On the Illinois side, starting to see a little delay westbound 64 through the Fairview Heights 159 area right now as well, and it's a little heavy just on the Poplar Street Bridge. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At 6:41, let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. When is it going to most feel like spring?
I think we're going to have to wait until late next week and then into the second week of March. And then I think it's going to be spring with all of its bouquets. And that means warmth, but also rain and potentially thunderstorms and a threat for severe weather. All of that once we get past about the 5th or the 6th of March. Between now and then, the weather will be variable. Today, okay, with clouds and sun, mid-50s. Tonight will be cloudy, a couple of little showers around. By daybreak, we're down to 36. Clouds give way to sun tomorrow, about 56. A spike of warmth Friday with a high of 71 and lots of sunshine. Partly sunny and pretty nice on Saturday with a high of 63, but it's cloudy and colder Sunday. We'll get a little rain in the afternoon, low to mid-40s. Wouldn't be completely shocked if there was some snow and ice not too far to our north and west at some point late Sunday or Sunday night. Right now, a chilly 38 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. It's partly cloudy, 40 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 6:42. A St. Louis economist says last week's Supreme Court ruling striking down Trump administration tariffs has created more uncertainty.
Speaking on Total Information AM, WashU's John Horn says last year there was a lot of fear that U.S. tariffs would destroy the global economy.
One of the surprising things when we look at 2025 is that imports actually increased. And some of it was at the beginning of the year to avoid the tariffs before they were put in place. But there were increases in imports at the end of the year because that's where we import stuff from. Like the stuff we need to buy, a lot of it is made overseas, and you can't just overnight start manufacturing stuff in the United States.
He adds things had settled in. Now he says countries and companies will be waiting to see what happens with rates, how long new tariffs may be in effect, and what products they'll impact. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The NAACP of St. Louis City is calling for a federal investigation following the death of a man on Metrolink property. 60-year-old Derek Hodges was found dead on a bench last week near the Union Station Metrolink platform after he was forcibly removed by security.
St. Louis police say Metro Security called 911 to request assistance in removing Hodges from the Union Station platform February 16th around 1 a.m. 10 minutes later, they say Metro Security canceled the request for assistance. The NAACP says Hodges was a diabetic who used the Metrolink to get to work and that Metro, quote, left him there to die.
A Metro East man is jailed, charged with robbery and making a terrorist threat at the Godfrey Schnucks Monday night. Kareem Hamilton accused of threatening to detonate an explosive during that robbery. The Riverbender reporting Hamilton was arrested in Alton after a foot pursuit. Investigators found evidence from the robbery, but no explosives.
A 29-year-old man has died at the Potosi Correctional Center. Missouri's DOC reports the death of Aaron Collier happened Saturday afternoon. An autopsy is being performed to determine the cause of death.
Also, last year was Missouri's most severe tornado season since 2011. KMOX's Megan Lynch spoke with National Weather Service meteorologist Melissa Delia on how residents should prepare for this year's season.
In terms of the best place that you can possibly be is going to be below ground level, away from windows, under something sturdy. Think a staircase, a very sturdy work table.
Delia says the region usually sees the most severe weather activity from March to May, but residents should create and practice a plan before any bad weather hits.
We want to have multiple ways to receive warnings. Just relying on outdoor warning sirens is going to mean that you're going to miss those warnings sometimes because warning sirens are not meant to be heard indoors.
77-62, 5 seconds left. And that'll be the final score.
62. Bob Ramsey with the call on KMOX last night. SLU loses at Dayton 77-62. A tough one for Coach Josh Schertz. Never could get that team going.
Under 4 media, are you in great shape? No. Do you have a chance? Yes. But then they make the layup and one, and they go back up, count them as free throw, they go up 13. And, every time we had a chance to pull back. But again, it goes back to, no force offensively. They just absolutely flattened us out with their physicality and their switching. The two guys who got downhill were Kellen and Dion. And those why, they had 39 of our 62 points, with just getting downhill.
Getting to the NCAA tournament is one thing. Getting through the tournament field is another. If they're not playing with physicality, they're going to have a tough time. SLU plays at home against Duquesne on Saturday, next week against Loyola at home and at George Mason before the Atlantic 10 tournament. Meanwhile, Missouri with another key win. They get it done at home against 22nd ranked Tennessee, 73-69. With that, Mizzou now with 9 SEC wins, one away from the magic number of 10 that would get them into the NCAA tournament by all accounts, although this win over another ranked team could pretty much do it for them. 21st ranked Miami of Ohio, still undefeated. They're 28-0. They won at Eastern Michigan 74-64. Let's turn our attention to baseball. KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Cardinals pitcher Tink Hintz makes his Grapefruit League debut, throwing one scoreless inning with a strikeout. Hintz's injury history has limited him to just 257 pro innings over parts of 5 minor league seasons, but his stuff has always played well when healthy. Manager Oliver Marmol is just happy to see him in a game.
Just to see Tink out there and healthy and attack him with the fastball. Got the punch out with that curveball. Not really. He's had some good sliders, but overall, just good life to it. I thought he competed really well.
Hence pitched one scoreless inning. Cardinals lost 6-1 in West Palm Beach against the Nationals. Now to soccer. KMOX's Jen Cease with the latest.
Coming off their 1-1 tie with Charlotte at home, St. Louis City SC is already looking ahead to the next challenge. Coach Johan DeMay says the first game gives the team a solid foundation to build on.
I thought for a first game, that gives us a good starting point in terms of what we've worked on the previous 6 weeks. So a lot of positive to build on, and I'm excited to get into week 2 with that starting point.
The team's competitive mindset was on display at Tuesday training, with new players like Mamadou Mbake joining in to push for a spot in the lineup. Midfielder Miguel Perez showed significant growth, earning confidence from the coaching staff after a strong preseason and solid weekend performance. Wingbacks Rafael Santos and Conrad Vollum contributed effectively, though DeMay says there's room to be more aggressive in the attack while maintaining balance on defense. As City SC prepares to face San Diego this Sunday, the focus remains on improving their own game and reflecting on lessons for long-term growth over reacting to the specific opponent. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
All City games can be heard on Y98 FM. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-535-1582. 800-535-1582. Again, that's 800-535-1582.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX for the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America's Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert.
It'll be fun, but those clouds, I'm telling you, baby.
With the songs you know by heart.
You can see now.
One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:50, it's Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got more trouble in South County, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. They just had another call out for this crash, North 55 north of Bayless. More EMS on the way. Still only the right lane open, North 55 north of Bayless. It's a jam back almost to Green Park, so it's almost midway between Lindbergh and Rivas Barracks on North 55 now. And if you're thinking, well, I'll just go North 270 and avoid that, well, you can, but you're going to run into a jam there as well because we have a crash now, North 270 north of Gravois. They've got the right lane blocked for that. Traffic jams approaching Tesson Ferry on North 270 because of that one. Otherwise, North 270 is a little slow. Clayton Road overpass up to 64. Southbound 61, Highway P on to 64 to almost Lake St. Louis Boulevard slow. Eastbound 70A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. That's kind of busy. Downtown, westbound, a brief slowdown on the Poplar, and westbound 64, a backup midway from 50 through 159 as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Intervals of clouds and sun today, high 55. Joe Lundberg says couple of showers tonight, low 36. Back up to 56 tomorrow and 71 with sun on Friday. Currently, it's a cloudy sky downtown, 38 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52. State of the Union attendees expressed themselves through fashion last night.
First Lady Melania Trump was all business in a charcoal Dolce & Gabbana pantsuit with a wide open collar shirt underneath. Her 19-year-old son, Barron, wore a dark suit and a cobalt blue tie in his first public appearance since his dad's second inauguration. His half-sister, Ivanka, outshone them all in a $7,000 ombre metallic Oscar de la Renta skirt suit. Democratic women wore white again, honoring the suffrage movement that gave women the right to vote in 1919. One Republican lawmaker, Texas Troy Nels, chose a tie with pictures of President Trump on it. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The men's Olympic hockey champs wore navy sweaters with the Team USA logo with khaki pants and gold medals, if we're talking about fashion last night. The new research indicating the number of women living with cardiovascular disease will rise sharply over the next 25 years. Here's CBS's Cami McCormick.
The current trends are startling.
High blood pressure is already super common, and it's just continuing to rise. Almost 60% of adult women will have high blood pressure by 2050.
Dr. Karen Joint Maddox, a cardiologist at Washington University in St. Louis, says more than 25% of women will have diabetes and 60% obesity, and the numbers are growing among younger women.
We're forecasting an increase in obesity among girls from about 20% to almost 32%.
The numbers indicate they'll be facing chronic health issues for most of their lives.
The findings are published in Circulation, a journal of the American Heart Association.
Researchers say they found that almost a third of working adults in the U.S. suffer from obstructive sleep apnea. The study says companies should consider screening their employees for the condition and provide them with effective treatment. Study co-author Dr. Robson Capasso of Stanford University says we already have access to devices that can detect sleeping problems.
These days, with the proliferation of wearables, in which people have been exposed more to wearable data, people have been more cognizant about their sleep. People have been more aware about possible sleep issues. And we have nowadays devices that can detect sleep apnea. Well known, it's Apple Watch and Samsung Galaxy.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday to our good friend Ken Daly. He's always been great to us. He is a great Cardinals reliever from the 80s. He is 67 today. Happy birthday, Kenny.
Local celebrity birthdays are sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Kathy Ewing of South St. Louis. Happy 4th birthday, Mason Berkey from Nana and Grandpa. Kathy Hesselbarth of Fenton from the Bunko Girls, Earl Phillips from the Life Group, Jim Teachins, and also the incredible Nancy Kransberg. Happy birthday.
Best birthday ever.
How are your eyes this morning? I ask because it's important to keep on top of that. You do need to get your eyes checked every year. And I'm not talking about just reading the eye chart, which anyone can do. You need the ophthalmology experts at Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Busatti, Andy Royer. The number to call is 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. My doctor is Ranjan Malhotra. I have to say, each year it is the most thorough check of my eyes. And at one time we thought I had an issue. Thankfully, I didn't, because they map your eyeball. They have this incredible technology. It's really actually fascinating. But what I do have is dry eye disease, which now that we're getting that treated, I don't have to wear my glasses. I mean, I still need readers because I'm getting old, but my other glasses to see far at night, which is really a relief. So get on that. Make that your goal today to get your eyes checked by the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Get ready, St. Louis area. The St. Charles Boat Show is here March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. See the top dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks and climb aboard your next dream boat. New models, great deals, and summer fun starts here. Visit lakeoftheozarksboatdealers.com for details.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain. I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We appreciate you making this part of your day. It is Total Information AM, and Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're still dealing with our troubles in South County, Tom. I mean, we got crashes on both highways. Northbound 270 north of Gravois is the newest one. The right lane is shut down, and northbound 270 is jammed back basically to 55 right now. So if you're headed that way, it's bumper to bumper. That was the newest crash that just popped up, and emergency crews pulled up to block that right lane. So I don't know how long they'll be there. And they called out additional equipment on northbound 55 at Bayless, but things are getting better there because it looks like the equipment we had has left. They've cleared everything. Yeah, it's really open to traffic. I mean, 2 lanes are getting through now. Normally it's 3 shimmying down to 2, but they have everything over to the shoulder, and the emergency crews have departed there, so that's a good sign. But northbound 55 is still jammed back to about Green Park, so it's about midway between Lindbergh and Revis Barracks right now on northbound 55. But since lanes are open, that'll get better, although, like I said, they're still out there on the shoulder. Southbound 61, Highway P down on 64 through Prospect is busy. Eastbound 70A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, that's slow. And westbound 64 on the Illinois side is heavy, approaching 159 about midway down the hill to 157. From the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The NAACP of St. Louis City is calling for a federal investigation following the death of a man on Metrolink property. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman.
A big merger between two area universities.
It's really a way for us to really ensure a sustainable future.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds and some sun today with a high of 55.
We'll get a report from Jupiter from KMOX's Matt Pauley on the Cardinals and the Billikens. Oof, Dayton got them good last night. It's all at 7:15. It's 7.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
The roaring economy is roaring like never before.
The president boasted about the economy, immigration operations, and foreign wins in last night's State of the Union address. Correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
President Trump argued the first year of his second term was historic.
We ended DEI in America. We gave you no tax on tips.
Trump sought to put Democrats in a tight spot on immigration.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. And you should be ashamed of yourself not standing up.
His move prompted shouting from a small group of Democrats.
CBS News chief Washington analyst Robert Costa.
This is a president who does not often hold back, but you saw him trying to underscore patriotic themes, highlight Americans who have compelling stories of service to the country, while also taking on Democrats, calling them crazy, saying they're not addressing the issue of immigration or the economy. And you really see ahead of the midterm elections, this is a president who wants to be appealing to the center of the country.
Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democratic response.
There's the cover-up of the Epstein files, the crypto scams, cozying up to foreign princes for airplanes and billionaires for ballrooms, putting his name and face on buildings all over our nation's capital.
President Trump gave the longest State of the Union address in history. He spoke for an hour and 48 minutes, breaking the old record set by Bill Clinton. 25 days after she was kidnapped, there's still no sign of Nancy Guthrie. We are learning more about some of the evidence. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti from Tucson.
DNA recovered from Guthrie's home may not yield a usable profile of the suspect, according to sources close to the investigation, one calling it, quote, low level. But sources say even a low level sample can be enhanced by scientific techniques in the lab.
The Justice Department is suing the University of California, claiming Jewish workers weren't protected during pro-Palestinian protests. CBS's Christopher Cruz.
It says school officials, quote, turned a blind eye to and at times facilitated grossly anti-Semitic acts and systematically ignored cries for help from its own terrified Jewish and Israeli employees.
State lawmakers in Oregon have advanced a bill that would require all public schools and universities to notify students, family, and staff when federal immigration agents are on campus. This is CBS News.
Every Sunday, moderator Margaret Brennan goes face-to-face with top leaders to make you better informed. Face the Nation, Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
It is 7:04. And right now it's cloudy, 38 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The NAACP of St. Louis City is calling for a federal investigation following the death of a man on Metrolink property. The NAACP says the man was a diabetic who used Metrolink to get to work and that Metro, quote, left him there to die.
According to KSDK, 60-year-old Derek Hodges was found dead on a bench last week near the Union Station Metrolink platform after he was forcibly removed by security. St. Louis police say Metro Security called 911 to request assistance in removing Hodges from the Union Station platform around 1 a.m. on February 16th, but 10 minutes later canceled that request for assistance.
A violent hours-long manhunt in southwest Missouri ended with a suspect dead and 2 sheriff's deputies killed in the line of duty.
One deputy from Christian County that is deceased from this incident here. One other Christian County deputy that's shot with non-life-threatening injuries, and we have a Webster County deputy that's also shot with non-life-threatening injuries.
Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole, Deputy Gabriel Ramirez was shot and killed Monday afternoon during a traffic stop. The suspect fled south towards Reed Spring, where an overnight gunfight claimed the life of a second deputy. The 2 other deputies are recovering from their gunshot wounds.
A threat on the Washington University main campus yesterday morning turned out to be a false alarm. A shelter-in-place order was issued about 9 a.m., then lifted an hour and a half later after a search determined there was no threat.
WashU is adding to its academic portfolio.
Washington University has reached an agreement with University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis to acquire its campus and the St. Louis College of Pharmacy. Pending regulatory approvals, WashU will add the College of Pharmacy as its 10th academic school following the 2026-2027 academic year and integrate select undergraduate programs into its existing offerings. The College of Pharmacy will continue to operate on its current campus. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's a challenging time for higher education with rising costs and decreasing enrollment leading to this acquisition. Brian Size, president of the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis, says the deal includes both the College of Pharmacy and the entire UHSP campus, which is adjacent to WashU.
So the College of Pharmacy will stay in its current location and continue to operate from there after the transition. The rest of the campus, it will really be up to WashU.
He tells KMOX there's still a lot to be worked out, like pharmacy tuition at WashU and what happens to the staff. Programs other than pharmacy will be phased out for the most part after the 26-27 academic year, and transfer assistance will be offered, he says. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Budget cuts and lack of funding are presenting delays for St. Louis County residents, especially in the revenue department.
If you are trying to pay taxes and you call on the phone, it's going to be a while before it's answered. And if you go in person, the lines are long. County Executive Sam Page talked about the problems yesterday, including trying to enforce liquor licensing and making sure businesses do not have video gambling machines.
So what the Department of Revenue has been doing for inspectors is they borrow from code enforcement inspectors from the Department of Public Works. And that's what we'll have to do until we have people back in the Department of Revenue.
Page requested from the council that 2 new inspectors be hired for the liquor and license enforcement. As of now, the Revenue Department has sustained around $2 million in budget cuts.
From the KMOX business desk, a new recreation center could be coming to the Ville. Preliminary approval has been granted by the city for a youth and senior rec center to be built at Moffett and Whittier. Phase 1, which is tied to federal ARPA money, would include a meeting space with restrooms. Phase 2 would add offices, classrooms, and a meal prep area that could expand Meals on Wheels capacity.
Currently, Northside Youth and Senior Service Center serves meals to more than 1,000 seniors a year. That includes 600 seniors who are homebound, all from a 2-flat that's not fully accessible to seniors who use wheelchairs or walkers. Since the tornado, they've been prepping even more meals and need more space, according to the Business Journal.
It's 7:09. We'll check traffic and weather next.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's go back to the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we're still dealing with northbound 270 with this crash we have. I mentioned at the top of the hour, north 270 north of Gravois. Right lane still closed there. Traffic is backed up pretty much all the way back to 55 right now. A lot of folks have been taking Lindbergh. It's pretty heavy from Baptist Church up to Lindbergh High School, and it's jammed north of Gravois like Denny Road up to almost Watson. A pretty solid jam if you're looking at it as an alternate route. Of course, we had that earlier crash. It's still out there on the shoulder. Northbound 55 north of Bayless. Traffic is backed up north of Lindbergh in pockets up to that one. Again, the lanes are open, but it's still on the shoulder. And that jam I said on eastbound 70, I mentioned between A and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, there was, I can't tell if I think it's a minor crash. Anyway, it's over to the shoulder there as well, but traffic is backing up because of it. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway on the 64. The Boulevard's busy. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 backs up west of 50 through 159 as well. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:12, and it's going to be cloudy today with some sunshine and a high of 55. A couple of showers tonight with an overnight low of 36. Then clouds giving way to sunshine tomorrow with a high of 56. Check out Friday. Sunshine and 71 degrees. Enjoy it. It's back down to 63 on Saturday and into the low to mid 40s for Sunday. Currently, cloudy skies, 38 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. One of 2 women charged with assaulting nonverbal autistic children in the Pattonville School District is scheduled to appear in court this morning. Our partners at Fox 2 have more.
Sharnita Thomas and Angelette Calhoun are both facing misdemeanor assault charges for accusations involving 3 nonverbal autistic children.
According to court documents, one of the alleged incidents came from surveillance footage showing Thomas shoving a 7-year-old child, causing the student to fall on the floor.
Court filings also say that Thomas shoved the same child into a closet and then blocked that child from getting out.
The other woman charged is accused of pulling a 7-year-old child off a scooter and shoving the student to the ground. She's facing 1 misdemeanor assault charge, and her case remains pending.
There's no safety net to the safety net. That's what Kathy Brown of Easter Seals Midwest is saying ahead of today's Disability Rights Legislative Day in Jefferson City. Governor Kehoe wants to eliminate the state's income tax, the state's major source of revenue, and slash state programs. Additionally,
the General Assembly and local communities are also considering proposals that could potentially shrink local funding for some disability-related services. So people with disabilities are kind of under threat from multiple directions right now.
Brown says this is it. There is no public or private insurance a family can purchase that provides these needed services. There really are no other options. She says their goal is to make sure lawmakers understand this.
KMOX follow-up on video lottery games, VLTs, in businesses that hold liquor licenses in St. Louis County.
Executive Director Sam Page wants the council to approve 2 new inspectors for the Revenue Department to enforce the liquor license regulations.
Have these inspectors investigate the complaints that are coming into St. Louis County about VLTs. We'd also like to take a proactive approach and send these inspectors into convenience stores, gas stations, and other places that have a liquor license to make sure that they don't have VLTs on their premises.
Page expects some liquor license holders to remove the video lottery games immediately, but he also expects some will test enforcement to see if they can fly under the radar. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
We were a little concerned about this. Dayton getting thumped at Chaffetz Arena last month. Would they come back looking for vengeance in this game last night at home against SLU? The answer was absolutely. They put it on SLU 77-62. They opened up a big lead in the first half, and SLU just could not catch them in the second half. SLU usually does that by knocking down threes, but last night only 5 of 21 from three. Coach Josh Schertz with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr.
We saw what they did to take away the three-point shot, although we did miss some open ones early. Other teams have tried that this year. Why were they better at it tonight?
They were super physical on the ball. There was a lot of grabbing and holding that was allowed. I didn't think our shooters did a very good job of being physical and setting up the screens. I think there's a part of there was times we couldn't screen because they're grabbing and holding us,
screener.
and they're pushing the screener, but they're also holding the guy coming off. But you've got to be physical enough if they're doing that to basically shove that guy and come off. And they allowed the officiating. I can't speak to it both ends, but they allowed them. Again, it is what it is. But that's not I'm not blaming them. But if they're gonna allow them to grab and hold, you've got to get into the body, and you've got to shove and create space. And we didn't do a very good job of that. We didn't attack. When we had Bennett and post ups, I think we had 5 post ups. Started the first play of the game. We throw it inside. We have the ball at 1 foot on Bennett. Instead of just powering up and laying it in, we shoot a fadeaway, glance off the front of the rim. Robbie gets the ball at the front of the rim on Bennett. We miss a wide open layup. We get a charge. We get a second charge. 1 for Dion, 1 for Amari. So, we had 5 or 6 post-ups, didn't score on one of them in that scenario. It was just, the 2 guys who could get downhill were really, were Kellen and Dion.
And other than that, the team lacked physicality, according to Coach Josh Schertz. They lose this game 77-62 to Dayton. What does that do for their NCAA tournament hopes? I mean, it doesn't kill the hopes by any means, but they can't afford another loss here in the regular season. They take on Duquesne on Saturday at home, Loyola next week at home, then they go to George Mason, and then the Atlantic 10 tournament. Still in play for the number 1 seed in the tournament. They have a 1-game lead on VCU, and remember, they swept VCU, so they own that tiebreaker if the 2 end up locked up at the top of the conference. Meanwhile, Missouri, they look good. They beat Tennessee 73-69 in Columbia. The 22nd ranked Vols go down. That's the 9th SEC win for Missouri. And with 10 SEC wins, they should be a lock for the NCAA tournament. They might already be after getting that key win yesterday.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories, and by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Thomas Sajaci is looking to turn into the Cardinals' next super utility player as he takes a crash course this spring on learning to play the outfield. We've yet to see him play out there in a Grapefruit League game, but manager Oliver Marmol says it's going to happen soon.
I'd like to see it once, at least. Our options at short, obviously you have JJ and Sajaci and Fermin, and we'll see a combination of all those guys. But I'd like to see Sajaci there today and then in the outfield and then go from there.
We have seen Sajaci play a strong defensive shortstop, and Marmol has a lot of confidence in his ability to play that position.
From a skill set standpoint, he's got the ability and the tools to do it.
Marmol also thinks we'll see more power from Sajaci when he stops swinging at as many pitches outside of the zone.
It's hard to drive a baseball when you're not swinging at strikes. And that's a point of emphasis for him offensively. It's just we have to be able to shrink the strike zone. And if you look at Burleson, ability to make contact to a fault sometimes, like him shrinking the strike zone gave him a lot more success. Like Sajaci has to make it a point to do something similar where it's not as much chase
so JC will leave Cards Camp soon as he will play shortstop for the Italian WBC team. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
It is Zero Res's Month of Love sale. Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If the carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and say you want the KMOX special.
The Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:21. It's time for us to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got this crash on North 270, Debbie, north of Gravois. It doesn't look real serious, but EMS is on the scene, and they still have the right lane shut down. So northbound 270 is a solid jam back onto 55 as you're ramping on from North 270. That ramp backs up before you even get up on the overhead stretch. Again, up to this crash just north of Gravois. It's impacting eastbound 30. Mauer up the hill to 270 is a pretty solid jam. Lindbergh is busy coming up from Tesson Ferry, but it's a solid jam from Denny Road most of the way up through at least East Watson. If you're on northbound 55, that crash is still on the shoulder north of Bayless. Traffic is slow from south of Rivas Barracks, and it jams at Rivas. So the delays begin north of Lindbergh, but a solid jam Rivas most of the way up to River de Pere because of that. Westbound 44, you got road work going on before Kings Highway. It's backed up pretty close to Grand out west. Eastbound 70, still some slow stuff east of 64 through Lake St. Louis Boulevard, where we had an earlier incident on the shoulder. Southbound 61, crossing over 64, you've got delays. Westbound 64, Hampton through Bellevue's a little slow. Westbound 64 slow in the Poplar, and it's also backed up westbound from 50 through 159. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have intervals of clouds and sun today from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. A high of 55, says Joe Lundberg. Cloudy, couple of showers tonight, low 36. Tomorrow, clouds giving way to sunshine and a high of 56. Hey, look at that. I see the sun in downtown St. Louis. We're looking at what's currently a partly cloudy sky, 37 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:23. What's next for businesses, consumers, and the economy following last week's Supreme Court ruling striking down Trump's tariffs?
The uncertainty is going to continue.
John Horn, economics professor at the Olin School of Business at WashU.
In some ways, the tariffs that were put in place last year had sort of settled in, and there was not absolute certainty, but it was a little bit more certain of what the levels were, what countries, how it was proceeding.
Horn says many businesses are still trying to hold off passing on the costs of tariffs to consumers to try and retain a competitive edge. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, political candidates flocking to Jefferson City to sign and put their names on the next election ballot. One of them, Kansas City Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, running for re-election while dealing with mid-decade redistricting. The change splits his urban district that now comprises all of Kansas City into 3 separate slivers, which each stretch into outstate.
That's not how the system is supposed to work. In fact, we're setting a dangerous precedent
by doing this. And ultimately, I think the whole state is going to be the victim, and that is because things change, and so there's going to be a time in the near future when the balance will switch over to Democrats. I can assure you that retribution is going to be at the top of the agenda.
Cleaver says he'd rather his current district remain unchanged so he can see the completion of projects he's championed since 2004.
Is the U.S. government under siege by a local company? Outspoken Republican Congressman Thomas Massie says yes, and is pointing the finger at Creve Coeur-based Bayer Crop Science. On the House floor, Massie alleged millions of dollars in lobbying are being used to buy a way out of the legal system for the makers of Roundup.
This government is under siege. All three branches of this government is under siege by lobbyists and lawyers from a German company named Bayer. They spent over $9 million lobbying the executive branch and the legislative branch so that they don't have to be liable for any damages that their herbicide causes.
President Trump last week issued an executive order praising glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, and calling for more production of it. Bayer has consistently denied that its product causes cancer. It did just propose a $7.25 billion settlement to put an end to the claims.
We've heard from Democrats that not extending the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies is taking a toll on many Americans. Republicans, like Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, voted against any extensions. That's resulted in healthcare premiums and deductibles soaring for some. One of Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth's constituents is Jeremy from Carbondale.
Jeremy's been forced to forego his own healthcare needs in the desperate hope of being able to continue covering the care that his wife, who is disabled, needs.
Jeremy says his healthcare costs quadrupled. His deductible is now $6,400.
I just went to the doctor for the first time this week and found out I have diabetes. The amount of money. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Take your time.
I'm afraid that because of that, the testing, the x-rays that I got, I will never be able to pay for them.
Senator Schmidt maintains ACA subsidies are a disaster for working families and adds they are a large subsidy for insurance companies.
Another fiery night at the St. Louis County Council.
For you to allude that this council is doing anything that is unethical or illegal is despicable.
That's Shalonda Webb shooting back at County Executive Page for his accusations that the council contaminated the search for a new county headquarters. The council members are also alleging a deeper effort to muzzle staff. They claim the Page administration aggressive crackdown on department heads has left council members unable to get basic factual updates on county operations.
You put them in the crosshairs. It made it a situation of them against us. And that's never the case. When they are forced to lie, when they are held in meetings for hours and hours to prep before they come and speak to this council instead of just being able to tell the truth, you are creating a toxic, or you have created a toxic environment.
Chairwoman Rita Days vows that the county council won't be bullied out of its charter-mandated oversight of all county leases.
Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. It's 7:28.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
St. Louis Public Library, one of my favorite places. And in case you hadn't heard, we have a Facebook group chat. It's a page called Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey in St. Louis Public Library. Yesterday, I did my monthly author interview with Alton-based Troy Taylor, who has written, even he's lost count, about 150 books, most on oddities and hauntings. And also, he's got a great book about the subject of The Exorcist, based back in 1949. Anyway, you can still view that if you join our book chat on Facebook. It's up there on the page. Also, I want to remind you that St. Louis Public Library offers free week-long summer camps for kids and teens. These are anything from early childhood to tweens and teens, from learning to ride a bike, dancing, exploring STEM, robotics, acting, filmmaking, so much more. And did I mention they're free which means they fill up fast. Registration opens on March 2nd. So you can go to slpl.org and look at the full list of summer camps at the library. It's an award-winning program, actually. So check it out. Just one of the many ways that St. Louis Public Library is such a great, great part of our community and St. Louis's original search engine, slpl.org.
In a world of change, music captures the journey of the human spirit. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for Bernstein and Robertson, American Reflections, March 6th and 7th. Conductor David Robertson returns to Powell Hall to present works by 4 American luminaries, including Leonard Bernstein's Symphony No. 2 and Robertson's own piano concerto, March 6th and 7th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
7:31, cloudy, 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have this crash northbound 270 north of Gravois, blocking the right lane, so traffic is backed up all the way to 55, and northbound 55 still jammed south of Rivas up to River de Pere because of the earlier crash. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check in with CBS News.
CBS News special report. The economy was front and center in President Trump's State of the Union address last night.
Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before.
He defended ICE operations and vowed to soldier on with new tariffs.
They will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement.
Just 4 justices were there last night as the president vowed never to allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democratic response.
Is the president working for you? We all know the answer is no.
Mr. Trump spoke for an hour and 48 minutes, breaking Bill Clinton's record by 20 minutes for the longest State of the Union address in history. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says intervals of clouds and sun today and a high of 55. Tonight, cloudy, couple of showers, low 36. Tomorrow, clouds giving way to sunshine, a high of 56. Friday, warmer, plenty of sunshine and a high of 71 degrees. Looking ahead to the weekend, 63 on Saturday, just 41 on Sunday with some rain in the afternoon. It's 38 and cloudy in downtown St. Louis.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next. It's 7:33.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
I was ordering food from our usual place for the big meeting. My VP said, "Please, God, no."
For workplaces suffering with corporate catering deficiency, every day's a struggle.
The food was always meh and over budget. Before Easy Cater, I thought that was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat CCD with a huge variety of restaurants, help meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and thrive. Ask your web browser about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Hey, look at the time. It's 7:34. Let's check business, sponsored by Busey Bank, and get the latest from Bloomberg.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Half of America is struggling to pay their rent or mortgage. According to a survey from Redfin, 49% of folks say they have difficulty coming up with the money for their payments. The most common sacrifices people make to afford housing are eating out less and skipping vacations. Some are also missing meals and delaying medical treatments to make their housing payments. Checking on your money, the event of the day on Wall Street is this afternoon when chipmaker NVIDIA reports its earnings results. Investors have been increasingly nervous about the outlook for artificial intelligence. As we wait, stock futures are continuing to build on yesterday's gains. And Waymo is heading to Texas. The company has started offering its robo-taxi service in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. Operations are starting small, inviting select riders from the tens of thousands who have downloaded the app. Waymo has pledged to expand this year to more than 20 American cities. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
All right. It's going to be 71 degrees, at least for a day. It'll feel like spring. So you're already thinking how you're going to spend the spring and summer in your beautiful yard, which may not be as beautiful as you'd like. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. And I know this for a fact because they built my fence more than a dozen years ago, and it's still standing and looks fantastic because it is quality work that is going to last. And that, to me, is a true value as opposed to getting the very cheapest bid and having some project that falls apart and is splintering and warping with nails popping out a season later. You know, you've seen that happen in your neighborhood, too. Anyway, you can stop by their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley, or they will come to you. They'll do free project design, show you tons of pictures of what they can do, or maybe you already know exactly what you want. Whether it is a patio, a pergola, a sunroom, a screen room, a fence, a deck, they can do it all from the smallest project to the biggest. And if you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll actually offer you 48 months interest-free financing, which will be a big help. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. I've had the privilege of seeing miracles, broken families rebuilt, every crash, every workplace injury, every medical mistake. Fighting back can work. We've gone toe-to-toe with insurance giants, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion recovered. Size matters. Reputation matters. Results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
It's exhibition preseason baseball today as the Cards take on the Mets. Pre-game 12 noon, first pitch 12:10. And you can hear the game streaming on Cardinals.com.
Yes, there's also a link at KMOX.com. Again, that is a streaming broadcast only today of the Cardinals and the Mets. Iran pushes back against President Trump ahead of Geneva talks in face of major U.S. military deployment. The foreign ministry spokesman dismissing Trump's remarks at the State of the Union as, quote, big lies. Meanwhile, Iran's parliament speaker said the U.S. could either engage in diplomacy or face the wrath of Iran if it attacks. America has assembled its biggest deployment of aircraft and warships into the Middle East in decades, part of Trump's efforts to get a deal while Iran struggles at home with growing dissent following nationwide protests last month.
Let's get you a check of traffic and weather. We are still in that phase where one day it feels like winter, the next day it feels like spring, and you just never know which coat to wear. So we'll get you the update from our AccuWeather meteorologist in just a moment. But first, let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
County Deputy, this traffic report, Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. The right lane's north 55 backed up Butler Hill to 270. All lanes are backed up again. Green Park all the way up through River to Pear because of an earlier crash. North 270 is jammed as you ramp on from 55. They still have the right lane closed for that crash north of Gravois, although it looks like they're getting close to wrapping it up. Alternate routes, northbound Lindbergh, south of Tesson Ferry all the way up to Gravois, slow, and then it's jammed from Gravois most of the way up to Watson. Eastbound Gravois is backed up from almost West Watson to 270. Northbound 141 has a jam for a good half, 3/4 of a mile approaching Tesson Ferry. Another one coming up the hill from 13th Street into Gravois Bluff. So alternate routes are a little busy as well. By the way, once you get past Gravois on North 270, Big Bend up to Ladue, still heavy. South 270, 364 to Ladue, slow. Eastbound 70A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, still busy. Eastbound 64, a little busy coming in east of Prospect through the Chesterfield Parkways. And at the Interbelt, westbound 64, slow from the Science Center to Hanley. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 Ball Avenue to the Poplars heavy, and of course west of 50 through 159. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing your checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, we're almost there. The great month of March is in our sights.
I can't wait for it to get here because it will get warmer in the month of March, although we may start a little on the chilly side for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But ahead of it, we're going to see a little preview of what's to come over the next few days. Clouds, some sun today, about 55. Watch out for a brief shower or two in places tonight, mainly early, the low 36. But tomorrow, clouds will yield to sunshine. Should be a nice day, the high 56. And Friday, we'll wrap up the work week in style with plenty of sunshine and a high getting to 70 or better. Now, it won't stay that warm for very long. In fact, it cools off a little bit Saturday. More sun than clouds, high 63. Then a colder day on tap for Sunday with some rain likely in the afternoon, high 41 to 45. But it's going to be pretty chilly the first half of next week before it gets warmer and stays that way toward the end of next week. 39 at St. Peter's and in Florissant. Bright, but still fair amount of clouds, and 42 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is going on 7:43. A Metro East man is jailed, charged with robbing the Godfrey Schnooks and making a terrorist threat. This was Monday night. Kareem Hamilton accused of threatening to detonate an explosive device during this robbery. The Riverbender reports that Hamilton was arrested in Alton after a foot pursuit, and investigators found evidence from the robbery, but no explosives were found.
A 41-year-old man is arrested in connection to a fatal West End shooting from earlier this month. St. Louis police say the suspect was charged with first-degree murder, among other felonies. Officers were called to a shooting in the West End neighborhood February 2nd. Where they found 59-year-old Timothy Rice dead from a gunshot wound inside his minivan. Detectives have not yet released the suspect's name.
Last year was Missouri's most severe tornado season since 2011. KMOX's Megan Lynch spoke with National Weather Service meteorologist Melissa Delia about this year's season.
Missouri's saw 98 tornadoes total over the course of 2025, and that included 10 EF3 tornadoes, which are 2 away from our highest tornadoes possible.
Delia says the region usually sees the most severe weather activity from March to May, with research showing increased activity across the southern half of Missouri in recent years.
We want to have multiple ways to receive warnings. Just relying on outdoor warning sirens is going to mean that you're going to miss those warnings sometimes, because warning sirens are not meant to be heard indoors.
Delia says residents should not only have a plan for severe weather, but they need to practice that plan as well.
A new poll by the Illinois Education Association, a statewide teachers union, indicates 69% of residents want to see state education spending increased. President Carl Gakey says this sentiment crosses all demographic lines.
Whether they're parents or not, Illinoisans largely believe the quality of their public schools impacts the quality of their communities and has a direct impact on the value of their homes.
Right now, about a third of districts in Illinois are considered at least 90% adequately funded. Last night, the Billikens drilled at Dayton, 77-62. Kind of felt like this was coming, didn't you, after they got the better of Dayton last month, 102-71. This was an uncharacteristic SLU team. Couldn't get it going, physically beaten down, couldn't knock down a three. Coach Josh Schertz with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr.
Schertz joins us. Coach, this is not the game any of us wanted, but it's what Dayton provided.
Yeah, credit them. They were, there's always two sides of a coin in a game. Dayton was awesome, and they came out early and, buried threes and had unbelievable energy and force. We couldn't get, anything going offensively, anything going defensively. Gave up, threes. I mean, Durkak made 2 early.
Got to be careful now with these games coming up. You play Duquesne at home, Loyola at home, George Mason on the road. The Billikens cannot afford any more regular season losses if they want to hang on to an at-large bid. Of course, an automatic bid would be to win the A-10 tournament. Missouri is looking better and better every day. They beat number 22 Tennessee last night at home, 73-69. Meanwhile, the Cardinals picked up a loss yesterday at home on the road at the Washington Nationals. First evening game in spring training. Got a bright spot for one of their pitchers, though. Here's Matt Pauly.
Cardinals pitcher Tink Hintz makes his Grapefruit League debut, throwing 1 scoreless inning with a strikeout. Hintz's injury history has limited him to just 257 pro innings over parts of 5 minor league seasons, but his stuff has always played well when healthy. Manager Oliver Marmol is just happy to see him in a game.
Just want to see Tink out there and healthy and attacking with the fastball. Got the punch out with that curveball, I believe. Mixing some good sliders, but overall, just good life to it. I thought he competed really well.
Hintz looks different and has adjusted his delivery. He also has added a fair amount of weight.
Probably like 10, about 10, 15, probably. I'm feeling better. Don't feel it slower, but I know I'm kind of moving a little slower just from like video or something like that. So it's just about kind of getting that rhythm and that tempo back. Yep.
Marmol thinks the added weight can help him.
It was good to see him out there with the way you just described him, being able to attack the zone with the fastball, the velo, be there, mixing other stuff.
Hintz topped out at 95 miles per hour. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauly, KMOX Sports.
They're training at Energizer Park. St. Louis City SC getting ready to hit the road.
St. Louis City SC continues to build momentum after their 1-1 home opener against Charlotte with new additions to bolster defense and shake up the attack. Coach Yohan DeMay confirmed that Mamadou Mbake is already at practice this week, pushing existing players to compete for minutes.
Guys have to come in to training ready to work and ready to earn something. So again, there's competition for everyone in every position. He's coming in. We need to evaluate where he's at physically, and also we need to integrate him to the teams. He's going to train really hard this week like everybody else, and we'll see how he is at the end of the week.
Meanwhile, Sergio Cordova was officially signed today to bring more firepower to the forward line, adding depth and experience to the attack. Center back Dante Polvara is adjusting to his new responsibilities, learning to balance risk and caution in defending forward. DeMay says training will continue to help him and the team make high-reward decisions under pressure. With competition rising across the squad, City SC is using every practice to strengthen team chemistry, refine tactics, and prepare for Sunday's road matchup against San Diego. Jen Cease, KMOX Sports.
You can hear that game on Y98 FM. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's a great time, if there's ever a great time, to purchase a furnace or an air conditioner. I know it's winter. We got some great pricing. You can get 0% financing. So if you have been told that you need a new furnace, definitely give me a call. I could probably save you lots of money. Get a second opinion. Call me. Next day installs for your furnace so you won't be without heat very long. A furnace average install about 2-3 hours for a furnace. So not a big issue to do it now. And like I said, great pricing. So if that's you, call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Just the easiest number. And there's one. 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-all-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
If you're getting close to retirement, or maybe you're just thinking about retirement more in general, you're probably thinking about when can you retire? Will you have enough money to live on? You know, we all have retirement questions that, let's be honest, they're overwhelming and just can stress us out. But Steve All can help answer those questions so that you'll feel more confident about this next phase of your life. Check out his show, The All Financial Hour, Saturday mornings at 10 and Sunday evenings at 6 here on KMOX.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. It looks like that bright sunshine has gone back behind the clouds for now. The forecast coming up after we check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still really busy on the south side. We've had crashes earlier this morning. They've cleared them both. The one we had initially was North 55 at Bayless and then North 270 just north of Gravois. Like I said, they're both cleared. But northbound 55, the right lanes are back on pretty solidly at Butler Hill, and then all lanes back up just north of Rivas. Up the river to Perrin, it remains slow all the way past Virginia. North 270 ramping on from 55 is jammed to Tesson Ferry. Then it's slow through Gravois because of the earlier crash. And again, 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270, south of 364, midway down to Olive's a little busy. Eastbound 70, 94 5th Street's the worst of it. Eastbound 64, Clarkson to Timberlake, right at Ballas. And then east of Lindbergh's heavy. South 170, bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. That's slow. By the way, alternate routes, northbound 141 still is a jam. Approaching Tesson Ferry or 21, and then north of 13th Street up to Gravois Bluffs. Lindbergh is still pretty tough, especially Denny up to Watson. Westbound 44 approaching Grand to Kings Highway slow. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplars heavy, and west of 50 through 159 is jammed on westbound 64 due to the road work. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are going to see the sun popping out here and there throughout the day. Intervals of clouds and sun, high 55. Tonight, cloudy, couple of showers, low 36. Tomorrow, clouds will give way to sunshine again, high 56. Friday, a warm, sunny day with a high of 71 degrees. Currently, it's 38 downtown.
It is 7:52. Sleep apnea could be costing the economy billions of dollars in lost productivity. We get more from CBS's Michael George.
A study published in the journal Thorax found that 1 in 5 people in the U.S. and UK have obstructive sleep apnea. For many, the condition is untreated, leading to daytime sleepiness, missed work, and reduced performance at work. The study's authors say the cost of treating sleep apnea is likely less than the economic harm caused by not treating it.
New research indicates the number of women living with cardiovascular disease will rise sharply over the next 25 years. CBS's Cami McCormick.
The current trends are startling.
High blood pressure is already super common, and it's just continuing to rise. Almost 60% of adult women will have high blood pressure by 2050.
Dr. Karen Joint Maddox, a cardiologist at Washington University in St. Louis, says more than 25% of women will have diabetes and 60% obesity, and the numbers are growing among younger women.
We're forecasting an increase in obesity among girls from about 20% to almost 32%.
The numbers indicate they'll be facing chronic health issues for most of their lives.
As concerns grow over teenagers and artificial intelligence, there's new information on just how often they use AI and why.
Just over half of U.S. teens say they use AI chatbots to help them with homework, just under half for entertainment. That's according to a Pew Research poll, which found that 3 in 10 teens surveyed say they use chatbots daily, and some are turning to them for personal reasons. 16% say they've had casual conversations with chatbots. 12% have sought emotional support or advice from them. Pew notes some parents, advocates, and lawmakers are concerned about that. Overall, the survey found more teens think AI will be positive for them than negative. Heather Bosch, CBS News.
A new chapter in the story of some monkey business overseas.
You haven't heard the last of the IKEA toy that went viral after it turned up in footage featuring Punch, the baby macaque monkey at a zoo in Japan, brutally rejected by his mom and dad. After selling out at stores, the fluffy orange orangutan plushie has been popping up on secondary markets at more than 10 times the retail price. Top asking on eBay for the support doll, $350. Last week, a top exec at IKEA Japan visited the Ichikawa City Zoo to donate several replacements, so Punch is never without his cuddly companion. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I got to go look up Punch. Now, I remember when this video first came out and I saw it, I'm like, well, that's
very
adorable.
sad.
Sad.
The whole
but,
world was like, whoa, you
know.
can't leave Punch. So
people
who
rallied around Punch.
Yeah, Punch is a little monkey in this zoo in Japan who was abandoned by its mother, and then they tried to integrate it with the other monkeys who were just super mean to it, like shoving it away and dragging it around, and it was just so heartbreaking. And so a zookeeper gave it a little IKEA stuffed toy orangutan who he dragged it around everywhere like it was his mom, and it just broke everybody's hearts. So now everybody wants the IKEA stuffed toy, apparently. But the follow-up is that Punch apparently is now making friends and has an adult monkey that he can hug like it's his mom.
See how loving the world can be.
It could just be propaganda so everybody stops yelling at the zoo for letting Punch be bullied. But there's also, hundreds and hundreds of people in line at this zoo just to see Punch because now he is a social media sensation.
7:56 Total Information AM on KMOX.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470, or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
I genuinely am excited about the start of the baseball season because this is an extraordinarily different baseball season for the St. Louis Cardinals. And not that anybody wants to rebuild, but it is going to be fascinating for me to see how this team evolves and emerges and all the stuff that Chaim Bloom does.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Roger Brand, what's the latest? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things aren't as bad on the south side, Tom, but it's still pretty busy. I mean, northbound 55, the right lane's bogged down north of Lindbergh. They're jammed getting off, or north of Butler Hill, rather. They're jammed getting off at the Lindbergh exit because North 270 is slow from that point all the way up to 44, and then again, Big Bend all the way to Ladue. And North 55 itself, if you're north of there's a little slowdown approaching Revis, but a solid jam from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. Northbound Lindbergh still jammed south of Gravois most of the way up to Watson. Eastbound 64, you've still got heavy traffic east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt has a couple of slow spots. Olive to 64, westbound 64 Hampton through Big Bend's heavy, westbound 44 Grand through Kings Highway, a roadwork backup. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, February 25th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. President Trump calls the first year of his second presidency a turnaround for the ages, an analysis of his marathon speech after the news.
A big merger between two area universities.
It's really a way for us to really ensure a sustainable future.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
KMOX AccuWeather, intervals of clouds and sun today, the high 55. It'll be cloudy much of tonight with a couple of showers, low 36. Those clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow, high 56. Mostly sunny and noticeably warmer Friday, the high 71.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. For almost 2 hours last night, President Trump boasted about his accomplishments during his first year back in office.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it.
He blamed Democrats for soaring costs.
Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well.
The president called out Iran amid his looming threats of U.S. strikes.
They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
This morning, Iran called Mr. Trump's remarks big lies. More from correspondent Charlie D'Agata in Washington.
President Trump doubled down on his threats to Iran, saying he wouldn't allow the country he called the world's biggest sponsor of terrorism to have a nuclear weapon. In fact, accusing Iran of developing missiles to reach the United States, a claim we can't verify. What is clear is the U.S. military buildup shows no sign of slowing down.
25 days after she was kidnapped from her home in Tucson, there's still no sign of Nancy Guthrie. Yesterday, her daughter, Today Show's Savannah Guthrie, posted a new video promising as much as $1 million for information that leads to her 84-year-old mother. A private lab is still analyzing DNA. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti.
The sheriff telling me he is hopeful that DNA will lead to a name. Meanwhile, sources telling me the FBI has received hundreds of new tips following that video.
A woman is facing federal charges for allegedly driving an ambulance into a building near Boise, Idaho, that houses Department of Homeland Security offices.
Police say 43-year-old Sarah George stole the ambulance from a hospital in Meridian, Idaho last week, loaded at least 2 gasoline jugs into it that were hidden in bushes nearby, and headed for the building. They say after she plowed into the lobby, she poured gasoline onto the floor, but was apparently scared off before she could ignite it. George was arrested Monday and arraigned yesterday. She pleaded not guilty. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has just announced nominees for its class of 2026. New additions: Shakira, Pink, Melissa Etheridge, and Lauryn Hill are among 10 first-timers. It's Phil Collins' first nomination, too. Oasis, Billy Idol, Iron Maiden, Mariah Carey, some of the other names. New members will be announced in April. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by...
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, February 25th. I'm Megan Lynch. The NAACP of St. Louis is calling for a federal investigation following the death of a man on Metrolink property. KSDK reports 60-year-old Derek Hodges was found dead on a bench last week near the Union Station Metrolink platform after he was forcibly removed by security. St. Louis Metro Police say Metro Security called 911 to request assistance in removing Hodges from the Union Station platform on February 16th around 1 a.m. 10 minutes later, they say Metro Security canceled that request. The NAACP says Hodges was a diabetic who used Metrolink to get to work and that Metro, quote, left him there to die. Monday was a devastating night for law enforcement in southwest Missouri. 2 Christian County deputies are dead and 2 other officers wounded following an hours-long manhunt.
The suspect, once deputies were close to him, immediately opened fire on the deputies, and 3 deputies were shot during that time.
Sheriff Brad Cole says the violence started with a traffic stop Monday afternoon in Highlandville, where Deputy Gabriel Ramirez was fatally shot. A second deputy killed during an overnight shootout that also left the suspect, Richard Dean Bird, dead. One of 2 women charged with assaulting nonverbal autistic children in the Pattonville School District is scheduled to appear in court this morning. Our partners at Fox 2 have more.
Sharnita Thomas and Angelette Calhoun are both facing misdemeanor assault charges for accusations involving 3 nonverbal autistic children.
According to court documents, one of the alleged incidents came from surveillance footage showing Thomas shoving a 7-year-old child, causing the student to fall to the floor.
Court filings also say that Thomas shoved the same child into a closet and then blocked that child from getting out.
The other woman charged accused of pulling a 7-year-old child off a scooter and shoving the student to the ground. She's facing 1 misdemeanor assault charge. Her case is pending. Today is Disability Rights Legislative Day in Jefferson City. Kathy Brown with Easter Seals Midwest says there's a lot they're concerned about right now.
The governor recommended some pretty significant cuts to 2 very important programs for people with disabilities and their families. Those are self-directed services and also day services, which provide support to people with disabilities so they can have a safe, productive, and meaningful day.
Additionally, she says the General Assembly and local communities are looking at shrinking local funding. Brown adds there's no insurance policy to purchase or alternative for people. There's no safety net to the safety net. KMOX continues to follow developments with St. Louis County's enforcement of removing video lottery games in businesses with liquor license. However, County Executive Sam Page wants the council to approve 2 new hires.
Those jobs would be for inspectors in the Revenue Department. Dr. Page says 400 letters have gone out advising those businesses of the county's ban and a recent federal court ruling reinforcing they are illegal except in casinos statewide.
While the county council is determining whether or not they'll fund these 2 new positions, we will use inspectors from our code enforcement division and problem properties, and they have helped the Department of Revenue in the past.
Page adds businesses applying for a new or renewal liquor license will have to attest that they do not have any illegal gambling or video lottery game machines on the premises. Liquor licenses must be renewed yearly in St. Louis County. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, a new recreation center could be coming to the Ville. Preliminary approval has been granted by the city for a youth and senior rec center to be built at Maffitt and Whittier. Phase 1 is tied to federal ARPA money and would include a meeting space with restrooms. Phase 2 would add offices, classrooms, and a meal prep area that could expand Meals on Wheels capacity. Currently, Northside Youth and Senior Service Center serves meals to more than 1,000 seniors a year. That includes 600 who are homebound. Since the tornado, they've been prepping even more meals and need more space, according to the Business Journal. It's now 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. And you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boosts the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings. And man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new brick you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623. 800-499-6623.
Unlock a brighter outdoor space in 2026 with Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Let us be your trusted partner for all your landscaping, lawn, and gardening needs, empowering you to create a haven that brings joy and serenity to your life. From landscape design to property maintenance to our garden center, we're here for you. Houseplants, tree shrubs, organic soil mixes, gardening and plant classes, and more. Chesterfield Valley Nursery's Garden Center has what you need no matter what the season. Visit us weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday hours start in March. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram for all class and sale updates.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
810 at Total Information AM. Let's see what's slowing you down on the roads. Roger Brand has more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just a lot of volume right now, Megan. Not a lot of problems, thankfully, but we do have slow going downtown, westbound 70 west of Salisbury through West Flores, and I can't see anything blocking there. Maybe there was something briefly, but it's just volume as it gets out of the city. Eastbound 64, you're still heavy east of Lindbergh to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, still slow. Northbound 270, still pretty busy. Most of the way up, there's a little gap between 55 and Gravois, but basically from 55 all the way up to Ladue, North 270 is pretty slow right now. Northbound 55 from the Union Road overpass up through Holly Hills, Virginia is heavy. Westbound 44 Grand out through Kings Highway. You've got roadwork delays. Westbound 64 on the Illinois side. You've got that back up west of 50, heavy through 159, and then west of 3rd Street. It's slow to the Poplar. Northbound Route 3 is backed up 8th Street up to the bridge at this time as well. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, intervals of clouds and sun today, the high 55. It'll be cloudy much of tonight with a couple of showers, low 36. Those clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow, high 56. Mostly sunny and noticeably warmer Friday, the high 71. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we have cloudy skies, 40 degrees in Florissant. It's 39 in St. Peter's, 38 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. He called the first year of his second presidency a transformation and a turnaround for the ages. Last night, President Trump beat the record for the longest State of the Union address with a speech clocking in at about an hour, 48 minutes. Let's get analysis now from John Shaw. He's director of the Paul Simon Public Policy Institute at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. John, thanks for coming back on KMOX.
My pleasure, Megan.
This is the first State of the Union of President Trump's second presidency. Heading into the midterms, this is a pretty important address because his approval rating has slipped from a year ago. Did he hit those key issues that he might need to pull some of those disenfranchised voters back in?
Well, Megan, the best headline I've seen for the speech comes from Politico, and it said, "Two Americas, one long night." And I think Trump played very, very heavily to the Republican base. So I think, and this has been sort of characteristic of his public remarks, is that he doesn't even really try to unite the country. That's just never even seems to be part of his agenda. And so he gave, I thought, a very partisan address that I think it energized Republicans. I think it infuriated Democrats. And I think it underwhelmed independents, which is a really critical part of his political base right now. And his support among independents has fallen precipitously in the last, 6 months or so. So I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of hyperbole, as you say, turnaround for the ages, America's back, and so forth. But I don't know that, and so he went through the sort of points that you would expect in terms of, economic numbers, the Dow Jones, et cetera. But I don't know that he really succeeded in his mission in trying to suggest that he was, keenly aware of the plight of the American people, particularly on the affordability issue. And it was he'd been clearly primed to focus on that. And yet even his use of the word seemed like it was kind of scornful and dismissive, and then reeled off a whole bunch of statistics, which kind of belie a basic fact that most Americans don't really perceive that the prices and costs are falling, dramatically. So I guess the bottom line is I think he probably helped himself some with his Republican base, probably infuriated Democrats and did not really give independents much to feel good about.
Was it appropriate for some Democrats to boycott the address and not appear?
I would have preferred. I think you need to show up to these events. I think it's just a part of the job is to show up to these events. I will say the one thing that I really like from many Democrats, I'm not big on the yelling back and hectoring. I think it kind of makes everyone look smaller. And I thought it was even just as kind of a visual, much more powerful, like for Hakeem Jeffries, to just be sitting there kind of, showing his disapproval and disagreement, but without yelling and screaming back, because that just makes people, it turns it into a circus. So I wish all Democrats had gone, as in a way that I wish all Republicans go and Democrats, because, this is supposed to be a ritual of, assessing and reflecting on the state of the union. And I just don't like it breaking down so fiercely into partisan camps.
Any suggestion in this address that there will be a change in course on immigration? You mentioned the pocketbook issues. Immigration has been another key issue in this country.
No, I mean, it was total red meat, and zero nuance on the discussion of the immigration issue other than, to just demonize Somali pirates or whatever the term was. So, no, I mean, it was clearly his only use of immigration was not to unite the country or to try to forge a compromise that Americans can live with, but to just say, I've closed the border to illegal aliens and that immigrants are causing, a lot of the crime, which I think all facts belie. So his approach to immigration was totally political red meat, I thought.
I checked out about 6 different media outlets coverage, everything from Fox News to the BBC. I thought it was really interesting. The BBC called the address theatrical. Speaking of some of the moments when the president brought in, for example, the U.S. men's hockey team and then the medals to war heroes. Who does that play to?
I guess it's, I'm not sure who it plays to. I mean, I think it really kind of this sort of using the audience as a prop began, I think maybe was Ronald Reagan. That's my first recollection of it. And then every president since has used this technique to varying degrees of success. Frankly, I find it pretty hokey. And I also, frankly, find it somewhat offensive when a lot of these, play on the tragedies of people, and you have, people standing up crying, and they've, horrific events in their life have been recounted, and the loss of loved ones and the injury of loved ones. I don't know. Maybe it's, maybe it works for some people, and it is a TV visual, but I just think it's devolved into a sort of degrading ritual. It's almost like each State of the Union you have to re-up it and find a few more tragedies to highlight and a few more successful sports teams to bring on the stage. So I don't like it. Maybe I'm old school there, but it just seems pretty hokey to me.
It took some time to get to some of the international issues, including Iran. The president, obviously pressing the Iranian government to reach a deal on its nuclear program. Did we learn anything new, though, about what's possible in the future against Iran?
I think that was a part of the speech that surprised people, in that it was just so, given the recent drumbeat and, the movement of military forces to the region. I think his Iran remarks ran for about 3 minutes. very general, saying, prefer diplomacy, but, Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. So I think the world, that was probably the one part of the speech that people around the world were kind of looking for guidance on. And I don't think he provided any. And that may have been, a strategic calculation to just keep the pressure on Iran by leaving, his intentions uncertain. But no, we didn't really learn anything new about what he is thinking about in terms of Iran.
John, really appreciate your insight today.
Thank you, Megan.
That's John Shaw, director of the Paul Simon Public Policy Institute at SIU Carbondale, joining us this morning here on KMOX. Still ahead, the St. Louis College of Pharmacy will soon be absorbed by another major university. Michael Calhoun will get details coming up in just a few moments. As we mentioned, Iran pushing back against U.S. pressure over its nuclear program. We'll have the latest from the Associated Press. And then before the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. He's going to look at whether new justification for tariffs by the Trump administration will also face lawsuits. Let's update you on your ride into work now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting out onto the highways, things are getting better, Megan, but we still have some heavy traffic on the drives around the area, like northbound 270. You're still bogged down coming up from, let's call it south of Tess on Ferry Nettle. It hasn't changed a whole lot. Northbound 55 looks better, though, just from Rivas up there. Actually, Bayless up to River to Pear. Eastbound 64, you're looking at slow going from Clayton Warson into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley. Westbound 44, still some heavy stuff. Grand to Kings Highway. Westbound 64, slow on the Poplar. Westbound 64, midway in from 50 through 159 is a solid backup. But westbound 70 still a little heavy west of Salisbury out to about Adelaide, and then it picks up the pace. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're going to have a mix of clouds and sun today, a high of 55 degrees. Cloudy tonight. We could see a couple of showers overnight with a low of 36. And then tomorrow we'll start out with clouds and then we'll see sunshine as the day goes on. Expect it to be warm, a high 56 degrees. Right now we have cloudy skies, 38 degrees downtown at the Arch.
In a world of change, music captures the journey of the human spirit. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for Bernstein and Robertson, American Reflections, March 6th and 7th. Conductor David Robertson returns to Powell Hall to present works by 4 American luminaries, including Leonard Bernstein's Symphony No. 2 and Robertson's own piano concerto, March 6th and 7th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
NeoVitan began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created NeoVitan, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with NeoVitan, available at Schnucks, Dierbergs, and neovitan.com. NeoVitan, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Washington University has reached an agreement with University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis to acquire its campus and the St. Louis College of Pharmacy. KMOX's Michael Calhoun spoke with the president of UHSP, Brian Size.
Really a way for us to really ensure a sustainable future for our 162-year-old college, which is the oldest college of pharmacy west of the Mississippi River.
Now, in the announcement, we see, a mention of declining enrollments, increasing costs. Was there a danger of a total closure before this WashU agreement materialized, or kind of what was the situation for the school prior to WashU stepping in?
Yeah, so we had been navigating a challenging, I would say, higher education environment like a lot of other private institutions for the last few years. But from our standpoint, doing this now really helped us ensure and cement that legacy of the St. Louis College of Pharmacy. And really, that's what we were really looking to do with this agreement.
As we can see in the announcement, St. Louis College of Pharmacy will continue as the 10th academic school at WashU, but the colleges of Arts and Sciences, Global Population Health, and Graduate Studies are going to be phased out after the 26-27 year. So what happens to freshmen and sophomores in those programs? Do they still get to finish at UHSP, or is there some sort of help to get them to transfer elsewhere?
Yeah, it's a great question. By continuing to operate the rest of this year and all of next academic year, you are correct in that we have a pathway for all of our juniors and seniors. The biggest impact is going to be in our freshmen and sophomores, not in our pre-pharmacy program. If you're in our pre-pharmacy program, we will be able to get you through that program and into the St. Louis College of Pharmacy. It's really those other freshmen and sophomore in other degrees, and they will have options ultimately. They can continue to stay with us next year, and we will also be building out teach out and transfer plans for them to continue their education after we phase out those other programs.
Okay. And then for those who are in the College of Pharmacy and eventually they'll become WashU students, do you know if there'll be any kind of a change that they can expect to their tuition or financial aid structures or anything like that under WashU?
No, it's a great question. We're continuing business as usual for right now. We still have to work out a lot of the details with WashU, but right now we're continuing to support those students, continuing to operate as normal, and we'll continue to work with WashU on the transition plans over the course of the next few months.
This might be a similar answer, but the professors and the staff, whether it's from the phased out programs or from Stillcop, will they be have opportunities potentially at WashU?
Yeah, that's what we still have to work through with Washington University. We're meeting with all of our faculty and staff right now. And right now, the message is we need to continue to operate the rest of this year to support our students. And we need to continue to operate next year also to support our students. So, and then that gives us time to really work with WashU on what those transition plans look like for our faculty and staff and where those opportunities may be.
That is the president of UHSP, Brian Size, speaking with our Michael Calhoun. It's now 8:26. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you, with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Who's the greatest to ever wear the blue note? Some debate it, but only one is called the Great One, Wayne Gretzky. 2026 marks 30 years since number 99 wore the note, and we're celebrating with an exclusive keepsake on March 10th. The Blues will rock retro jerseys against the Islanders, and the first 10,000 fans score a retro Gretzky bobblehead, courtesy of Amarin. Throw on your 90s sweater and lock in your tickets now at stlouisblues.com.
8:30, time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look, Roger?
Well, it's still slow, Megan, on northbound 270. You're still bogged down from pretty much Tesson Ferry most of the way up to Ladue. It doesn't open up much. It's just a slowdown, not a jam, but it's still pretty busy. Eastbound 64, you still got traffic from 170 to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton all the way out to Hanley. That's still heavy. If you're on northbound 55, it's doing better, but I'd still call it slow north of Bayless up through Virginia. Westbound 44, the Grand area out to Kings Highway, you've got the roadwork slow down. Westbound 64 is a little slow, just approaching Route 3, a brief backup, then heavy on the Poplar, and westbound 64 is still slow, both sides of 159 through that construction zone. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8, jerrykelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, looks like we're going to have a warmer day today, high around 55 degrees with a mix of clouds and sun. We could see a couple of showers tonight, cloudy otherwise with a low of 36. Clouds to start the day tomorrow, then more sunshine, a high of 56 degrees. Much warmer on Friday with plenty of sunshine. We're expecting a high near 71 degrees. And then Saturday, more sun than clouds, not quite as warm. High 63. Cloudy skies this morning, 40 degrees in Florissant, 39 degrees in St. Peters, and 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. As we mentioned earlier this hour, President Trump touched on Iran and the nuclear negotiations in his annual State of the Union address. Satellite photos earlier analyzed by the Associated Press showed Iran beginning to rebuild its missile production sites and doing some work at the 3 nuclear sites attacked by the U.S. in June. Let's get more.
Iran has pushed back against President Donald Trump's pressure tactics. The tensions between both nations come ahead of critical talks in Geneva on Thursday over Tehran's nuclear program.
They're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America.
Responding on X, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman dismissed Trump's remarks at the State of the Union as big lies. Meanwhile, Iran's parliament speaker said the US could either engage in diplomacy or face the wrath of Iran if it attacks. America has assembled its biggest deployment of aircraft and warships into the Middle East in decades in a push to get a deal. Meanwhile, Iranian state TV released on Tuesday a video showing the country's Revolutionary Guard holding a drill. The date and time of the exercise is unknown. The upcoming talks also come as Iran struggles at home with growing dissent following nationwide protests last month. I'm Karen Shamas.
Still ahead on Total Information AM before 9 o'clock. We're going to talk with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. There's a lawsuit in Kirkwood attempting to save a historic home. He's going to run through that. Plus, people are sick of AI slop online. We're going to tell you more about a new survey from CNET.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application.
Time for your money report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Customers are back in the market for PCs, looking to replace outdated gear with new artificial intelligence features. However, HP and other device makers are dealing with rising prices for memory chips on a supply shortage. The company said the memory issues are expected to continue through this year and likely into next. As a result, HP gave a profit outlook that fell short of estimates. The event of the day on Wall Street is this afternoon when chipmaker NVIDIA reports its earnings results. Investors have been increasingly nervous about the outlook for artificial intelligence. As we wait, stock futures are continuing to build on yesterday's gains. And Mediterranean chain Cava gave a rosy financial outlook for the year. The company has been outperforming its fast casual rivals such as Chipotle. Cava sees sales expanding at least 5% this year. The company says price increases and customers adding more expensive options from the menu have been helping. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contests.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and mention the KMOX special.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The NAACP of St. Louis calling for a federal investigation following the death of a man on Metrolink property. New research from Tulane finds that even mild cases of COVID or flu can leave lasting lung damage. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has announced its 2026 list of nominees. It includes Phil Collins, Mariah Carey, Lauryn Hill, INXS, Iron Maiden, Shakira, and the Wu-Tang Clan. Time for another update on the roads for you. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still got slow going on North 270, Megan. This traffic reports a service of the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America free concerts, northbound 270. Still bogged down, gravelly like midway to 44, and then pretty much from 44 all the way up to 64. It's just kind of off the pace, heavy traffic just chugging along. North 270, eastbound 64, just a little heavy at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend, slow. Westbound 44, just a little busy. The Van Deventer Kings Highway area road work going on there. Northbound 55, a couple of slow spots from Bayless up through Holly Hills. Not bad, though. And 44 downtown, a little heavy eastbound past the Poplar. Westbound 64 just slow approaching the bridge. And, of course, westbound 64, both sides of 159 is still slow in the work zone. There's also a backup on eastbound 5570 now. This is a little bit of a jam. Roadwork going on just before Route 40. It's backed up through 159. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Don't miss the U.S. Air Force's Shades of Blue Jazz Ensemble, February 25th through March 4th. Enjoy big band swing, patriotic favorites, and more. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
We're expecting temperatures to hit 55 degrees today. We'll have a mix of clouds and sun, and then a couple of showers are possible tonight with cloudy skies and overnight low 36 degrees. Clouds giving way to sunshine tomorrow with a high of 56. Even warmer on Friday with plenty of sunshine, a high of 71. And then for Saturday, more sun than clouds, but not quite as warm. We're expecting a high of 63. Currently, we have 40 degrees in Florissant, 39 in St. Peters, and cloudy skies, 38 degrees downtown at the Arch. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris Young and Kaiser, is back from vacation. Good morning, Brad. We've missed you.
Thanks, Megan. Great to be here.
I hope you're rested up because we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about what's next in tariffs, whether we're looking at another battle in court. There's a Kirkwood house at the center of a legal battle, and a prosecutor in the Charlie Kirk case may get bounced. Let's start with tariffs, since that's been something that we've been talking about for the last week almost, with the Supreme Court ruling that the president is going to try other avenues to try to impose tariffs. He's turning to Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, obviously not something that a lot of people have pored over and looked at. Never been used before. I think that's very interesting. So is there justification to use this law in this way?
Well, that's a great question. Let me break it down for you, Megan. Under that Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, it does authorize the president to enact temporary tariffs up to 15%, but only for 150 days. Now, so President Trump has already said he's instituting those tariffs, but there's two big issues with that. Number one, what happens after 150 days? And number two, under Section 122, there has to be a showing that there's a deficit in what's called the balance of payments. That means the trade deficit. For example, right now, our trade with China, they sell to us $190 billion more in goods than we sell to them. But other countries like England, for example, we have a trade surplus. So this act requires that there be a large balance of payments deficit. No court has ever defined what that means, and yet President Trump is using this rather unilaterally. So the courts are going to have something here to work through as well.
When I look at that 150-day limit, I have to think, okay, legal challenges to this could take much longer.
That's right. And the other question is, what happens on the day 151, where the president could say, okay, all tariffs are off, and then the next day, I'm going to reinstitute them now for another 150 days. So in other words, can these be recurring, or is it a one-time shot? The statute doesn't specify, so that's something, again, that the courts will be dealing with.
Brad, help us understand, too, when something like this happens, I can imagine that we may have challenges legally in various jurisdictions. What happens then, for example, if we get courts that rule very differently on this?
Yeah, that's a big problem where, say, a federal court in California rules one way, a federal court in Florida rules a different way. And that's your classic situation where the Supreme Court says we will intervene and make one decision when there's a conflict between different courts in different areas of the country. I do foresee that happening in this particular case. And that's a reason why, if you were a betting person, you could bet that eventually this will end up at the Supreme Court.
Let's turn to something local. A group of Kirkwood residents is suing to save an historic home. They're not the owners. And I think a lot of people are wondering, why do they have a right to stand in the way of what's going to happen to this house? Because it's slated for demolition.
Yeah, what's happening in Kirkwood is this home is over 150 years old. It's one of the first houses in Kirkwood, and an individual bought it and wants to tear it down, build a new one. And other residents have filed suit because the city didn't take any action to stop the demolition. Now, here's the issue. Under Kirkwood statutes, the Kirkwood City Council is empowered to delay a demolition for up to, I believe, 30 days, but there's no power in Kirkwood statutes to prevent or completely stop a demolition activity from going forward. So when you look at this, this is a type of situation that's litigated a lot. And in almost all of these situations, the courts will rule in favor of what the local municipal law states. So in this instance, unless Kirkwood changes their laws, at most, all that these individuals who filed suit can accomplish is a 30-day reprieve.
What's the community interest in something like this? Because it's not just one historic home, it's in a historic district.
Yeah, this is a big issue for individuals. This is a bread and butter type of litigation because if someone lives in a historical district, you don't want to have a house that's put up that's modern architecture in an entire set of homes that have architecture that's 150 years old. So it's important to the neighboring community to have a cohesion and a sense of camaraderie when it comes to the style of homes. But this raises a lot of legal issues. You already alluded to one of them, that can non-owners sue to block an owner from demolishing their own home. And that's why this litigation gets very personal and it tends to get very messy.
Now, would any demolition be on hold while this suit is pending?
Yeah, a couple of issues there, a couple of options there, rather. A court could certainly issue a temporary injunction to prevent any immediate demolition while the courts sort out the legal issues. But at the end of the day, unless Kirkwood passes some sort of new ordinance that allows for the city to permanently block demolition, I don't see that these other community owners who own homes in the areas, I just don't see them as being successful.
Let's turn finally to kind of an interesting twist in the Charlie Kirk murder case. The daughter of one of the prosecutors in this case apparently witnessed the killing. Talk about the potential conflict there and the challenge to having that prosecutor be part of this case.
Yeah, what happened is one of the defendant in this case, Tyler James Robinson, has filed a motion to disqualify the entire office, the prosecutor's office, because, as you mentioned, one of the prosecutors had a daughter that was there present when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, and she was texting her father. So what they're alleging, or what they alleged, was that this places the prosecution's office in a conflict of interest because they're litigating out of a sense of emotion and because of a personal connection to the killing, as opposed to simply seeking to enforce the law. Now, a judge ruled literally at the end of the business day yesterday, denied the motion and stated that the prosecution can move forward. They're not disqualified due to a conflict of interest. And since this is what we call an interlocutory order, that is not appealable. So at this point, the trial is moving forward with the same prosecution team.
Are there any instances where that would be considered when there's an attorney involved in a case, not necessarily a prosecutor?
Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, one of the members of the prosecution team's daughter was married to Charlie Kirk, right? That would be a conflict of interest that would certainly exclude that attorney. It's rather unprecedented to say that you could exclude the entire prosecutorial office. And it's hard for me to envision a scenario where that could be accomplished. But if there was a more of a personal connection, the court could easily say you have a conflict of interest because you have a personal interest in the outcome of this case, and therefore you cannot be the prosecution here because of that conflict.
I'm wondering, though, do you think this will be brought up in court again?
Well, the only way this could be brought up again is on an appeal. So, for example, let's assume hypothetically that Mr. Robinson is convicted of this crime, and then it goes up on appeal. That will be one of the many areas of an appeal that Mr. Robinson could assert by saying that this prosecution team should have been excluded. But when you look at how appellate courts deal with these situations, they tend to simply affirm what the trial court reached in terms of a decision, because the trial court is always deemed to be the closest to the situation. So I don't see this having any legs on appeal.
Brad, good to have you back.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris Young and Kaiser, joining us this morning on KMOX. Coming up next, people are sick of AI slop.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. I keep talking about things that are making me hungry. Now, how could a McKelvey Homes discussion make me hungry? Well, I'll tell you. If you're in the market for a new home, I'm going to tell you about Cottleville Trails. I've known Jim Brennan and McKelvey Homes for a long time, and this community is something special. Cottleville Trails, 5 lakes, a pool, playground, Francis House schools, and get this, you can golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville for dinner or lunch at Menino's Market. Jim says it is his favorite new sandwich shop, and knowing Jim, that means something, and I did my own research and looked up Menino's, and it looks unbelievably good. I could go there right now and grab lunch. It's a neighborhood where you actually know your neighbors. Cottleville Trails, just part of the many communities that McKelvey Homes has available for you right now at McKelveyHomes.com. McKelvey Homes, move up to McKelvey.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. While artificial intelligence is helping to provide some solutions to complex problems, some critics say it's also creating a wasteland in our digital worlds. CNET AI reporter Caitlin Shadrawi joins me now to talk about AI slop. Caitlin, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me.
What is AI slop?
So AI slop is a term that experts use to kind of refer to AI-generated content that's of a super low quality. You've definitely seen this, whether it's in Google's AI overviews, giving you some wrong information, or those bizarre images and videos on social media that are just completely implausible and kind of has a sort of plastic veneer sometimes.
I've seen these a lot, that I think they're the ones where they're just kind of regurgitating big stories. They're not always completely accurate, and it's just kind of this stale, kind of computerized voice. So is that one of those, probably?
Yeah, absolutely. It is literally everywhere online.
You surveyed people about it. What did they tell you?
Yes, CNET recently ran a survey, and we found that 94% of US adults who use social media encounter AI content. So that's pretty much all of us. And a lot of us see it multiple times per day. A lot of this content is really obviously AI, especially some of the more fantastical ones, but we're not super confident in our ability to spot it when we can. Only 44% say that they are confident, and that's, less than half. And 25% of all US adults said that they are not confident in their ability to spot AI.
What does it do to our experience? What did people say about how it makes them feel about their digital lives?
Yeah, if you think back to the beginning of social media, its original purpose was to connect us to our friends and loved ones. Obviously, that's changed a lot over the years, but now we have a lot of different factors at play, including, algorithmically curated feeds and AI slop, and we have really strayed from that purpose. So what we heard from our survey respondents is that they really want better labels on AI content. Half of social media users, 51%, said that they really want this. There's also a small group of folks who believe that AI should be banned entirely from social media.
I don't know if you asked this, but is there anyone willing to just leave these platforms because of this issue?
Anecdotally, I've heard a lot of that. It's a lot of pent-up frustration with being inundated with a lot of things that they didn't ask for, like ads and random posts and AI slop. And you can get to a boiling point where you just want to say, okay, I'm done with Instagram. But I think for a lot of us, we've spent a lot of time on these platforms, especially, years and years building up connections. So walking away from these platforms is difficult, but it is certainly something people are considering.
Should we blame the platforms alone for this?
Part of the problem with AI slop, if not entirely the problem, is that the social media companies that are running our feeds are the same ones building AI. So we see this a lot with Meta AI and Instagram and Facebook. There's a huge crossover between social media and AI. So certainly these tech companies are having to balance their AI ambitions with their responsibility to give us a good user experience, but I think they are starting to hear our complaints about slop.
So when it comes down to trying to make this work better for everyone, what do you see people trying to do, or are they actively trying to fight it?
The number one thing I tell people, which should be obvious, but it isn't, is that if you're going to share AI generated content online, you need to disclose that. Whether that's you put it in a caption or you use an AI label, it's more important than ever that we are super clear about where content comes from. We have seen a number of folks try to take action to determine if something is real. 60% of social media users told us that they look at posts for visual cues of AI. So whether that's like an image that has a 10-fingered hand, for example. Only 5% of folks said they use deepfake detection tools, but I highly recommend using these. They're a really great way to sort of go the extra mile and understand if what you're looking at is real or AI.
What do you think is going to happen maybe over the next year or two with this?
I think AI slop is definitely not going to slow down over the next couple of years. I think we've gotten to a point where these AI models are really good at what they do and people are really interested in them. So I think we'll still see a lot of AI slop, but my hope is that we'll also see a lot more solutions as well. I think better labeling and watermarking is an area of interest for researchers and for these social media platforms. So I'm hoping we see some developments there so that it's way easier for us to immediately know if something is real or AI. I also think we're going to start to see a little bit of a backlash against some of these spam accounts that just constantly share AI slop all the time. But ultimately, my view is kind of an optimistic one. I think human content is going to win out over AI content because ultimately that's kind of what the internet was supposed to be built for. It was built by humans for humans. And, this idea of an entirely AI internet sounds really unappealing. So I hope we're not headed there.
Caitlin, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
That is CNET AI reporter Caitlin Shadrawi joining us this morning here on Total Information AM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Late night dinners are bad for metabolism. Columbia University researchers find pre-diabetics, obese adults, or those with type 2 diabetes